All right, guys. Our first guest today, our first guest ever on this show, is the one and only Dirty Aladdin. Is it Sijin? Sijin Kurian?
It is Singe.
Singe. Dude, check this out. You're asking about my pro wrestling crate. So I got the British Bulldog.
Oh.
Basic bodybuilder. He teaches you two gym techniques. Clearly, never been opened. I'm wondering.
Clearly, judging by how you look.
Clearly, like the third technique is going to be involving needles. Like, there's no way it doesn't. Let's see. They sent me I think this is oh yeah, check this out. Go Roddy Piper poster.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's see. What else and this is just in the one pack. They sent me two of them.
That's clearly like 80s Roddy Piper, not.
Yeah.
90s.
Oh, dude, a signed Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty legit pack right there.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Sadly, I'm not sure if all the people watching this are actually wrestling nerds, like you and I. But I was pretty excited to get that. I'm actually going to hang the Jake the Snake up on the wall over here on the wall of shame once I get going. So hey man, welcome into our first episode of Stuff Happens, and this is basically going to be weekly. We're going to be talking about stuff that happened, man. Stuff that happened over the weekend, usually involving fighting. That's 99.9% of our lives. This first segment is brought to you by this random can of beer that I grabbed.
Mine's also this water.
Nightmare on First Street by No Label. I don't think they're going to pay anything.
Well,
Pretty
how
sure.
is it?
It's good. It's a pumpkin ale. In case you're so inclined to try a pumpkin-y type of brew. You're not, are you?
No.
Okay,
no.
Fair enough.
Hey
Did
man, make it a pumpkin cheesecake though. That was kind of nice.
You did. You know, I don't like cheesecake, but I did have Eric Garcia's wife gave me a cheesecake, sopapilla cheesecake.
Oh.
They had made it for everyone at the last Submission Hunter Pro card, and it was shockingly good. Like, you know, I don't like cheesecake. I'm always like, I'm not eating cheesecake.
You hate life.
Dude, I ate like 3 servings of this. It was delicious. It really was delicious. It was definitely Fat Boy approved. I definitely enjoy that thing extremely well. So, hey, man, last night, Anderson Silva, final fight in the UFC. Did you get to watch the entire event?
I watched most of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was kind of like the way you expected or feared it to go.
Feared is a great way of putting that.
Yeah. But it was still great to see him finally just hang it up because he's done everything that you could possibly ask him to do.
Yeah.
And he really has nothing left to prove. So,
do you think he's actually done?
I hope he's done. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't seem. How can I put it? It doesn't seem like he needed to. He just did it because he just kind of wanted to do it, you know?
Yeah.
I think past couple of fights. So I don't really see him. Like, what else does he have to do?
I don't know, man. He's 45. He's going to be 40. I think maybe he's 46 now. But he's close to 46 years old.
Yeah.
I don't see the point outside
his
of.
Style isn't going to be that conducive at his age.
No, man. He used to rely so much on speed and reflex and being able to really be where you didn't think he was going to be. And now he's right where you think he's going to be.
Yeah. Like, he kept. How many jabs did Uriah Hall hit him with?
Man.
Just like every time.
You know, and I felt bad. Probably, I think it was the third round, maybe the second round. I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, man, you know, Anderson, you've never really even seen him cut. And you've never really seen him cut. No. I can – and then last night, bleeding mess by the end of the fight. And you're like, dude, this sucks. And you could tell Uriah Hall really didn't want to do that.
The whole scene at the end where he was just kind of crying and telling them sorry. That was just – it's heartbreaking to watch. So,
yeah, you know, we'll go back over here in a bit, Anderson Silva's career. But Uriah Hall, man, it's for me, I think it's a little bit too late. He's 36. He's 36 making this run now. Mm-hmm. And even on this run, when you kind of look at it, he's beat Bevon Lewis, He beat Bigfoot, Carlos Jr., or Shoeface. Is it Shoeface? Yeah, Shoeface.
Yeah,
And he beat Anderson Silva. So, I mean, that's not that great of a run. Like, are any of those guys ranked?
Gosh, I don't think so.
I don't think any of them are ranked.
Yeah.
But he has made what I think is the smartest decision of his career by joining Fortis.
Yeah, that's because I don't think he was really part of like any big gym before that, was he?
Yeah, it didn't seem that way. Like he was part of Kelvin Gastelum's team for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then he kind of, evidently he met a girl and went to Dallas. Everyone's story. And, he got out there and, in my opinion, and now in many MMA media's opinion as well, too, Fortis that's the place to go, man. If you want to be a fighter in the UFC, they have the best training, coaching, the way they regiment their schedule, everything. Like, there's no elite person there, meaning like there's no person who comes in and does what he wants. They're all elite, but they're all on the same schedule and they all follow what Coach Safe says. And I think he needed that.
Quickly becoming like the hot spot in like Texas, like because Texas never really had a big super gym.
Not really.
I think they would, but
it was weird. For forever it was Miletich and then it was Jackson's. For a little while there, remember like Citadong in Boston was having some people come out for a while, but and then Alpha Male and the AKAs and the ATAs, but Texas never really had a super camp, and now you do. Now, if you're a fighter in Texas, there's no reason for you not to make the 4.5 hour drive out to Dallas.
Yeah.
Now, Houston has some up and coming super camps. I think 4 Ounces always got, they probably got 137 fighters on their roster or something like that.
Something like that. There's always someone coming out of 4 Ounce.
Yeah, and there's always the wars and the main streets, and if you want to be a fighter, Metro. Yeah, I mean, man, forgive me for forgetting Metro. Saul's just gonna stab me next time I see him. Speaking of Metro, how good did Adrian Ynez look?
Ooh, that was as furthest it could probably go for him.
Yeah, he, we said it years ago. I said I thought he would be one of the best fighters to come out of Houston. It took him a little bit longer than I really thought it would, but he's a complete fighter, and no one has even seen his ground game yet.
Yeah. I mean, before he had a couple of hiccups before he could make it to the UFC, and it kind of seemed like his opponent, Victor Rodriguez, was trying to go for that same game plan. Because I believe Adrian's last loss was to Miles John, who was the first card on last night's event.
Correct. Yeah, his last his last fight that he lost was Miles John, 2018.
And that was kind of like, it seemed like the recipe against Adrian was to kind of wrestle him and put him up against the cage. And that's what Victor tried to do. But it seemed like Adrian learned from that last fight, or the fight against Miles, and just was able to like reverse position and just kind of waited it out, let Victor kind of tire himself out, and then he picked the shots because he looked super relaxed.
And even in that fight, he had only lost previously to Miles John, Domingo Pilarte, and Levi Mouse. I mean, talk about all three are UFC fighters. Levi Mouse will be in the UFC. Like he just won another title the other night. There's no reason he's not in the UFC now. But even the Pilarte and the Miles John were both split decisions. Yeah, like he had a judge give him a card on each of those. So he's always been kind of right there. And you're right. I think the attempt, I think the look is that maybe I can pressure him up against the cage and take him down. I mean, he didn't look even threatened at all by that. And dude, the head kick as the guy was walking out.
Oh, that was nasty.
What's funny about that head kick? You always kind of see, we talk about it. We talk about, man, the guy's circling out. He's right there in the range to do it. But it's hard to throw it. It really is hard to throw it comfortably. And dude, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable performance for him. I think he got another $50,000 bonus. Performance of the night bonus that night. I think Miles John also got one as well.
It was a lot, because there was a lot of nice finishes last night.
Yeah. So shout out to Adrian Ynez. I'll be excited to see what the future holds for him. I think he will definitely be a I think you're looking at a top 10, top 5 fighter. I think as he improves, you could see him, maybe talk about being that top 5 title type of guy. I think he needs to add a little bit more weight to his frame. But I could be completely wrong about that. The dude's excelling exactly the way he is.
Do you think he should take it kind of slow, or do you rather see him like maybe have one more fight before he starts fighting like top ranked guys, or like top 15?
He's pretty young, right? Like he's 27, maybe. How old is he? He's born in 93, so he's 26. Yeah, I'd like to see him get another guy outside the top 25, or and then you start getting into those top 20, top 15 guys. Yeah,
I don't do a rematch against Miles John, or should they both be built up kind of separately?
As a Texas lover, I don't want to see those two guys go at it again. Those are two of my favorite guys. Miles John may be the hardest hitting 135er on the planet. The uppercut just completely folded that guy he was fighting. And I hate seeing guys I know, guys we've experienced fight each other so early. I'd like to see them fight a little bit later. I mean, in reality, Ynez, this is his first UFC fight. His first fight was on Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars. I can't stop calling it.
It's got the same like abbreviation.
I can't stop calling it that, man. Every time I'm in conversation with someone, I'm like, man, this guy was on Dancing with the Stars. And they're fighting on Dancing with the Stars. I got to watch this show. I really got to start.
I mean, that would make it more interesting, in my opinion.
I would be so into it. I would be so down if they just started clacking each other in the middle of the dances. Another guy on the card who I have failed in my idea of how good he was going to be. Andre Fili was defeated by Bryce Mitchell. First of all, I was texting you last night. I had no clue Bryce Mitchell's wrestling was that good.
Yeah, that was impressive. And plus Andre Fili's at Team Alpha Male, where he's got pretty elite level wrestlers constantly like taking him down and grinding him out. You think he would be able to prepare for someone like Bryce, but Bryce just showed wrestling was on another level.
Yeah, his transitions were great. He was really a basic single high crotch entry every time, but the ability to change and find the trip or find the breakdown was great. I was really impressed by that. And yeah, Andre Fili is a guy I thought, he said during his interviews that he thought he would have been a champion by now, and he was ashamed. And I feel the same way because I thought he was going to be a champion by now.
Yeah.
Now, when you went out to Alpha Male, did you train with him any?
I didn't really train with him. He was there, but I think I was mostly going with guys closer to my size, which is funny because
like Cindy Calvillo, like that's your main training.
Yeah. Calvillo. I rolled with her. I rolled with Josh Sampo. He was up there at the time.
Okay,
that was fun. He had some pretty good top pressure. Let's put it that way. I could not get out from underneath him.
He is a monster. So Bryce Mitchell moves to 14-0. In the featherweight division. I'll be interested to see who they give him next. He got his camo shorts. Congratulations for him on that.
That could have been what also helped him out. Like, I don't think Andre could see him.
He couldn't see his legs. He couldn't see he's moving. It's just floating toward me.
Floating.
Wouldn't that throw you off if a guy with no crotch started coming out?
It's just like, what's going on here?
What is this crazy crap? The infamous Greg Hardy defeated Maurice Green. I didn't think he looked that good. He looked exhausted after the first round, man.
Yeah, but he was also just trying to go for the finish, I guess. But
yeah, I can see that. He was. Maurice Green, I thought would have been more effective on the ground. Maurice Green is a great grappler, especially at his size. But Greg Hardy's a phenomenal athlete, man. I just thought
big.
He's
big. He had to cut to make weight.
He missed his first attempt at making heavyweight.
Yeah.
They say he walks at 285, which makes you remember how damn big Brock Lesnar was. Evidently, Brock was walking like over 3 at certain points during his UFC career. I mean, basically, Brock and Greg Hardy are the type of men that can just chase down elk and beat them to death and drag them back to their camp. I mean, they're just insane athletes, man. Next up was Kevin Holland defeating Charlie Oliveras in kind of a continuation of bad luck for Charlie Oliveras, man.
Yeah.
he took the fight on short notice, up a weight class. Charlie is not a big welterweight, and he weighed in at 182, and Kevin Holland is way better than people give him credit for just because he runs his mouth. He runs his mouth so much, and I think people forget how damn good of a fighter he is. Mm-hmm. He was able to come out and kind of use I don't say it's the blueprint against Charlie. Charlie is so good with his striking that everyone knows you have to close the distance on him, but that's dangerous. You saw Kevin in the first seconds got dropped by Charlie with that right hand.
Yeah.
So
it stunned him. He hit him with the axe kick.
Yeah.
Like, he throws crazy stuff if you're at range.
I did think it was funny
Kevin
to
Holland
hear.
would fight it at range too, because he's such a long fighter, but he had to quickly close the distance.
I don't think anybody wants to fight Charlie Oliveira at range. I think Charlie Oliveira in welterweight is going to be very reminiscent in the beginning of what you saw from like a Wonder Boy. His stand-up is that good, man. Like his ability, his timing, if he can keep people off of him and keep the distance, Charlie Oliveira is a nightmare for almost anyone.
I mean, even MVP didn't want to keep standing with him. He took him down.
Can't blame him. Can't blame him, man. Also in the card was Thiago Moises taking on Bobby Green. I thought Bobby Green won that fight.
Really?
I did. I thought he landed.
I mean, it was.
Dude,
really
he landed
close.
way more strikes.
He did.
He was more active, but I think Thiago Moises probably it looked better. Like it looked like he had maybe more impact on what he was doing. I guess.
And then I guess that last round too, when he went for the ankle lock, it looked pretty deep.
I didn't notice the ankle lock. That was at the time where I was trick or treating, handing out candy to kids.
Oh, he did. I think he did the whole old school Gracie Baja, like behind them, then dropping around.
Oh, nice.
He did that and actually was like, oh my gosh, I want to actually finish this.
It's like a technique we still teach today. Also on the card, Alexander Hernandez defeated Chris Grutzmacher. Hernandez looked
good.
Awesome, dude.
Really good.
Awesome. So confident. That move up to Colorado really helped him. We already talked about Adrian Ynez. What about Sean Strickland, dude? Coming back from that motorcycle accident. Mm-hmm. And did you hear him talking trash at the end of the fight?
That's pretty hilarious.
Why won't you go down? I was dying. There was kids knocking on the door, and I'm giggling because I'm not going to talk to you right now. Kids.
That's what I've been liking about this whole like no crowd in the fights. Like you can hear what the fighters are saying, and that was a fun fight to watch. I'm sure if you had a crowd, it wouldn't have been as fun because you wouldn't hear anything Sean was saying to him.
Also in the card, Jason Witt defeated Cole Williams. I don't know either of those guys. Dustin Jacoby defeated Justin Ledet. Man, of all the things that Justin Ledet needed for this UFC fight, it was not to fight a kickboxer. He needed to fight a grappler, another boxer, and credit to Justin. Justin won't turn down anyone, but man, that was Dustin Jacoby looked good.
He looked really good.
And then opening the card, Miles John decapitated Kevin Natividad.
Oof. He almost made him do a backflip.
That was so nasty. So nasty. But speaking of nasty, Gervonta Davis, Tank.
Oof.
This is a scary, scary man.
Ooh.
Last night in San Antonio, he took on Leo Santa Cruz. Mr. Santa Cruz himself was already he was 37-1 coming into this fight. And this was for the
very experienced.
Yeah.
Very action fighter, always in your face.
He was the WBA lightweight regular and WBA super featherweight champion. And he lost both of those in about 10 seconds of a big uppercut. That Davis, I think up until that point, Santa Cruz was winning the fight. Yeah. I thought he was controlling it. He was using his range. He was throwing great combos. And Tank, I think I texted you. I was like, Tank looks off, man. Like he's throwing these uppercuts, and he kept throwing that same uppercut. And then he finally found a home for it. And that is one of the knockouts of the year.
Yeah, that was vicious.
Yeah, I mean, one of those ones
I thought
where
he killed him.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was.
One of those ones where immediately the ref runs over and he's like, no, you don't. I'm not counting anything. Yeah. We don't need to count.
Yeah.
Shout out to No Label and Nightmare on First Street again. You guys can get
There was actually like a couple of good boxing main events yesterday. You had Alexander Usyk fighting like Derek Chisora in his like first real test of heavyweight, which he passed, and now he's looking to fight maybe Anthony Joshua for a title.
I don't think he's ready for that yet.
Well, it's more like he doesn't want to play around. He's like, I came here to win a title. I didn't come here for a bunch of tuna fights.
Could you see him
34?
Yeah, but there's no if you're Fury, if you're Wilder, or if you're Joshua, why? Like the guy's not a big enough name yet. He needs to fight. The problem is there's not a whole lot of other big name heavyweights for him to fight. Yeah. What would be fun, him and Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz has a big enough name to kind of carry the fight to give it a little bit of pop. I don't think either. Does he have a belt? Neither of them has a belt though.
No, I don't think he has a belt.
There's belts out there. Someone can make up a belt. There's 3 letters and put a belt on it.
Pretty much.
Your favorite fighter, Naya Inoue.
Naoya Inoue.
Is it Naya or Nayo?
Naoya.
My
Naoy.
My right? Japanese is weak.
Yeah, Naoya Inoue.
Naoya.
That was a sick knockout.
The monster. Dude, his body work is amazing. I really hadn't paid too much attention to him. I saw his fight with, I think it was Emmanuel Rodriguez. It's either Rodriguez, and I saw highlights of the Donaire fight.
Oh, the Donaire fight was amazing.
Yeah. Dude, his body work is insane. I did not realize how much he commits to his body work.
A highlight reel of just body shot knockouts. It's ridiculous. And this is his what? This is his 3rd weight class. So he's moved up 3 weight classes, and he's just walking his opponent down because he's like, I hit too hard and you don't hit hard enough.
Now he's a bantamweight, right? So is he a guy that you could see moving? Because he's been bantamweight, super flyweight.
Yeah, he was like 108, 112, I think 118 now.
Can he put on enough, or could I'd like to see him? This is not time, but I'd like to see him like Lomachenko.
It could happen. I think right now, maybe because of Lomachenko, he's like not as much of a. It's kind of on a downswing, and Loma's probably gonna get like a Tino fight or something. But he's got a bunch of guys at his weight class though.
What about Chocolatito?
He's got him. He's a little bit smaller,
but he could come
up. He could come up.
Yeah,
he can go down too.
I don't know. I mean, boxing is, if you can take the time to like actually go and look, there's some really high level, amazing boxers out there right now.
Oh, there are.
I think, the thoughts of, I think we're so involved in MMA and jiu-jitsu that sometimes you overlook it and you forget, but dude, there is amazing amount of high level boxers, not even including like the Charlo brothers and all these amazing boxers that are out there right now. If you had to pick one of these boxers, you talk about the Charlo brothers, you got Monster, you got Lomachenko, you got all these guys, who would you say is the most exciting boxer on the planet right now?
Probably right now a toss up between. You got Inoue, Alvarez, and Teofimo, I would say.
Okay. I got it, man, after that knockout from Gervonta Davis last night.
Oh, then that Davis too? I forgot about that. Because they're knocking out high level guys. They're not knocking out like
Right. They're knocking out people with belts, and not people with belts, but people with belts with like 40 fights.
Real belts, not like the belts that they give to people just so that these sanctioning bodies can still like get some money off of them.
You see, they made a belt for the Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight. It's like what did it say? It was like the WBCDT 80.
Is it like the BMF belt?
Kinda. It looks exactly like the WBC. It's got that green kind of look to it. I'm trying to find the name of the belt. what's the belt name?
Are we fine for a WBC belt?
WBC creates the Frontline Championship.
Frontline?
I don't even know what that means.
What kind of like a?
It's an exhibition fight with a championship belt on the line.
How is that possible?
I don't know. They were competing for the WBC Frontline Battle Belt.
Oh, it's black.
It says Black Lives Matter on it.
Yeah, it does.
It's got Tyson on one side, Jones on the other. I mean, it's pretty cool looking belt. I don't understand.
Those aren't current pictures of Jones and Tyson.
Oh, no. Tyson doesn't even have his tattoo on his face on that one. Jones only has one chin. Like that is not the real people right now. But you're talking about two of the greatest of all time. I don't care how much that fight costs. I'm probably gonna watch it. I'm probably gonna ask you.
You're probably gonna watch it.
I'm gonna ask
your favorite YouTube star Jake Paul's gonna be on that card apparently.
Oh
wait, no, this is an old one. Never mind.
No, his little brother's fighting on it. I think. Wait, which one's the bigger one? I don't know.
Jake.
I'm so out of the loop with that. So Jake Paul is fighting Nate Robinson, former slam dunk champion, Boston Celtics, and whatever other teams he backed up on.
Why
are they fighting? Sometimes.
Well, I mean, I say that, but then how much did he make off his last boxing fight?
Right. They're just trying to drag in younger viewers is all. That's it. I'm not watching that fight for Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. Now, Rashad Coulter from Dallas is on that card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rashad Coulter is fighting at 205. I don't remember. Let me see if I can find the card. I don't remember who he is fighting, but here it is right here. Rashad Coulter is taking on Vidal Riley. I don't know. Badu Jack. Okay, Badu Jack's taking on Blake McKernan, and then Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. Nick Jonas evidently is fighting on this card.
Nick Jonas?
Well, Nick Jones taking on Giuseppe Cusmano. Giuseppe Cusmano.
That's not
clearly Russian. clearly, he's a Russian. Hey, so before we get into some local stuff, we were actually, you know what? Let's get into our local stuff first, man. So Texas has been locked down from COVID since March. Is it March?
Yeah, up until I guess yesterday.
Yeah, and we were
San Antonio, right?
Based on San Antonio yesterday. So we, being Garcia Promotions and Eric Garcia with Fury Fighting Championships, Submission Hunter Pro, we were not able to put on MMA fights.
Mm-hmm.
And when they announced that they were doing the Devontae Davis fight, well, the state had to come back and go, well, now everyone else can do shows too. So we came out and Fury Fighting Championships number, I'm not sure the number. We've had a lot of them.
Wait, I just saw the number.
Say the number.
43.
43. I can't edit that out. I'm not that skilled. So Fury Fighting Championships number 43 goes down 12-12 here in Humboldt, Texas. And wow, the card that Eric Garcia has put together for this comeback event is pretty outstanding. Your main event, Peter Caballero taking on Leomano Martinez for the 135-pound title. Leo Martinez, fresh off the Dancing with the Stars fight that he had. Didn't quite go his way, but, you know, we talk about Martinez as you're looking at a guy who's maybe 1 to 2 fights away from getting that call back up to the UFC.
Also, he's super young. What, 21, 22?
Dude, he may be 13 years old. I don't know. Leo Mana has been fighting since he was 7. I think his first official fight was at 7 years old through that Bushi band system. They're like, just let him fight. It'll be okay. Give him a mohawk. He'll be all right. that's going to be a fun fight, man. Peter Caballero is a monster. Leo Martinez is one of the most well-rounded fighters that you will find outside of the UFC. So I'm really excited for that fight. Also on the card, we have one of my favorite fighters, Nico Echeverry, taking on Edmilson Freitas for the 155-pound title. I'm a little surprised to see Nico taking a fight. Now I'm going to assume that this is because he's been out for so long with the COVID and everything. Not that he had COVID, but with the COVID. And that I really thought his next fight would just be in the UFC. I thought we would see him kind of sit and wait a little bit and then go to the UFC.
He had a couple of fights in LFA.
Yeah.
You think he'd be either fighting for a title in LFA or moving on to a contender show?
I think one of the hard things is, well, there's two things here. Number one, I think it is really hard to get into the UFC at 155. There's so many good fighters in that weight class. And that's probably the most stacked weight class in the UFC. 55, maybe 40. I don't know. Those two weight classes are the
35
best.
Too. Those three classes.
They're the best they've ever been. But now when you talk about LFA, and this is going to rub some people, but that's okay. LFA is amazing. It really has been the stepping stone for the last few years. It was Legacy, and then RFA and LFA came together, and that's where you wanted to go to get to the UFC. If you were a champion there, I mean, we both worked for Legacy. We both worked for LFA. That if our champions always left. If you were a champion, you were going to the UFC. That's all there is to it. Fury is right there now. Fury is where LFA kind of started. We are, negotiating, working out a TV deal now. I think you will see by 2021 an announcement of where you can go to watch LFA on a national scale. Sure. LFA, Fury FC on a national scale. So I think you're no longer looking at I have to go to LFA. Now I think you can go through Fury and get to the UFC. Eric has a great relationship with some of the top managers out there in the world. And obviously the UFC vice president, talent relations, matchmaker, Cousin Mick Maynard comes out to Fury, man. The Dingo comes out to watch Fury fights. And if you're a fighter now, if you look at Jacob Silva, Adrian Ynez, Rashad Coulter, Ike Villanueva, all these guys came from Fury. Their last fights were in all those guys were coming out of Fury. So now, yes, they had other fights for other organizations, but their last fights came from Fury. And it is now getting to the point where with the relationships that we have built, with the work that Eric has put in, you can realistically now fight for Fury and go to the UFC. So I would not be shocked if Nico wins on 12-12, his next fight's in the UFC. If Leo Mana is it Peter? Yeah, Peter win. Either one of those guys. I think Peter needs a little bit more work on his record. I think he's like 7-4 or something. Yeah, something like that. Amazing fighter. It's just he's taking some short notice fights, but I think Leo Mana would be 8-2. I think he'd probably be looking at maybe defending the title one time.
Do you think with the Tuesday Night Contender thing, instead of people going straight from these regional organizations into the UFC, do you see them more going having to prove themselves over there?
Yeah, I do think Dancing with Dana is that should have been the name of the show. Dancing with Dana should have been the name of the show. I do think that probably is the route.
It seems like that's the way if they want to build up someone, or they'll take one of these regional champs and use them as like a short notice replacement.
It makes sense. If you look at Adrian Ynez became a star off of Dancing with Dana. Like he literally became a star on that show for his performance.
This is going to be a recurring thing, isn't it?
It's all I'm going to call it now. And so when he on his UFC fight this past weekend, that's all they talked about was his performance. Obviously the story with his dad. and his family, and that's all they wanted to talk about. But he built that reputation off of that fight. You look at Jacob Silva. Jacob Silva just got a call back up. He's fighting on the next Dancing with Dana, and he got that call back up because of his fight on the last card. He looked so good, so tough. Came out there, and while he didn't get the win, he put on an exciting fight. And Dana has said for years that is the key to getting in the UFC and staying in the UFC. You have to put on exciting fights. So yeah, I think your path now is you either go to an LFA or you go to a CFFC or you go to Fury. You win the title there, you maybe defend it, and then you go to Dancing with Dana or you look for a call up. I think the dancing is the best way to go because it does allow you to prepare a little bit. Those late minute call ups, like you look at Charlie Oliveira this weekend, and I think if Charlie Oliveira had been in a fight where he was in his own weight class with proper notice, wholly different performance. Totally different performance you would get from Charlie. I don't think the world got to see who Charlie Oliveira is. And hey, also they reported that he had like a tear in his neck. Yeah, from that fall. So I wish him the best for a quick recovery. And shouts to the guys out there at War Training Center and Blue Phoenix, Adam Copley and Jerry Mahone, his coaches out there. Some awesome fighters, man, coming out of those two camps. So also we have got this past weekend we had Submission Hunter Pro number 60, and it was our Submission Hunter debut on UFC Fight Pass. Did you get to watch any of the event? I know you don't watch a lot of grappling, so.
I didn't really watch. I think I watched like the swing bouts because I didn't have Fight Pass. I didn't have Fight Pass. So
you don't have Fight Pass?
No.
Oh yeah, I've tried to borrow your login. I guess I should buy one by now.
Yeah, you should, and then let me borrow that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let me talk to my accountant. I definitely, dude, it was a fun card, man. 60th event, and we had Roxanne Modafferi taking on Danielle Kelly, and Danielle Kelly is a monster because Roxanne Modafferi looked like she outweighed her by about 25 pounds.
Yeah, it was a huge size difference.
It was a massive size difference, man. And Roxanne did a great job defending the ankle locks, and it was actually succumbed to a toe hold from Danielle Kelly right there toward the end of regulation. So that was extremely fun. And I don't say this jokingly, but because of your size, you fight at 115, so you've actually trained with quite a few women when it comes to grappling, and the game has progressed. Like, ladies are getting better and are really entertaining to watch. One of the knocks on God, I'm gonna get in trouble. So everybody likes watching basketball, right? And everybody likes watching the WNBA. And I think the main reason for that is you don't see the high-flying athletic. Everyone talks about the technical skills, blah, blah, blah. That's not that entertaining. I'm sorry. The ability to have a great crossover is not entertaining. Now, Sue Bird is amazing. There's some amazing basketball players, Brittany Griner in the WNBA, but it sucks that people don't watch it as much. Women's grappling is going to explode. And I say that because when you look at ladies grappling, they may be more aggressive than their male counterparts.
They pretty much are.
It's almost like they have something to prove in every match. And maybe they do to a degree because just history, for the longest time, they didn't have as many training partners. They really didn't get as many shots. But this is the second card that Eric has put on with all ladies grappling. And dude, it was fire from start to finish. We had multiple submissions, multiple submission attempts, exciting fights back and forth. We didn't have one stinker. There's always a stinker on every card. Yeah. You can love your promotion, do everything you want. You're going to have some matches where you're like, oh, let's just get through this, please. There wasn't one. It was really, really good to see. And, as you kind of look back as kind of a person on the outside when it comes to watching the grappling shows and stuff, do you see – what differences have you seen in the last few years of like women's grappling?
I mean, at first it was hard to really like see a lot of women. I know they go to tournaments and you'd be lucky to have 3 people in your
Right.
bracket. And now it's kind of exploded where you can have a full card now with all women's grapplers. Because even with MMA still, it was like you have a lot of events where it's just only like male guys because there's no female fighters. Or you might have a female fighter, but then because it's not a lot of competition, if she puts together maybe 2 wins, no one wants to fight her because there's no one at that level. But now you have a lot of women at very high levels. So it's a lot more competition than this. And plus, like, since they don't get that attention, they have to have, say, if you have a regular card, you might have like, 20 different women fighting for maybe one spot.
Yeah.
It's like every time they get that opportunity, they're going to go for it.
I think you kind of see that with like Invicta. There's a reason Invicta only does like 6 to 8 shows a year because they just haven't had the number of women to consistently put on the quality of show they want to put on.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see, I think you're going to see more and more. I don't know if the 45 female division will ever really kind of blow, but that 35, 25, 15, I think you'll see those really start over the next few years, start to really grow.
Yeah, I think that's been the knock too with, like, even with Ronda, there wasn't a lot of women at that weight to really compete with her. But yet once these lighter weights started coming in, you had all these amazing fights. Even LFA, their last show had an amazing title fight. And it was that 105 or?
Yeah, that was Demopoulos.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She's amazing. Vanessa Demopoulos. I can't say her last name. I know you're gonna Google that.
Yeah, I'm
right
totally Googling it.
Just put LFA last night.
LFA last night. I don't even remember what number it was.
I feel like that would work. I feel like it's Vanessa. I'm gonna butcher her name, and she is an amazing Crystal Vanessa Demopoulos. She was the first LFA strawweight champion. Absolutely a monster. Like, she was just a monster for a while, and then she ran into the lady she fought last night. What was her name?
Lupi Godinez?
Dude, that was a fun fight. That was fun back and forth fight. But I think when you look at that kind of goes to your point of, like, women's MMA and women's grappling has really, really changed. It's not, you look back 10 years ago when you started, how many cards do you remember that you fought on where there was a ladies fight?
Not too many.
There was, except that one grandma in Denver. But
remind me. That was terrible.
Shout out to Denver for allowing 63-year-old grandmas to fight.
Fight someone 40 years younger than them.
Yep. We witnessed that, and we watched it.
Yeah. Sadly, that wasn't the worst thing we saw that night. Actually, that afternoon. It was like an afternoon fight.
Mm-hmm. It was middle of the day because they had a concert coming.
Later that night.
You fought some interesting places, man. I mean, like, you fought in soccer stadiums.
Did see, Justin Gaethje was in the crowd that night, afternoon.
Yep. Did he tell you hello?
No. I just thought it was some nerd because he had these really thick, like, glasses.
You guys have a lot of similarities, like wrestling,
I know.
wrestling-based power punchers who are blind and nerdy. Like, sums it up. So before we get done here today, I wanted to go over, we were talking at the gym yesterday kind of about MMA Goats. And you brought up your MMA Goat, and I didn't agree with you. And I still don't agree with you.
I mean, it's all opinion.
Right. I think my wife agrees with you definitely more than I do. Side note, she just sent me a text. Evidently, she's eating cinnamon rolls and chili. Have you heard of this before?
An interesting combination.
Like
together?
Like she's eating.
Separate?
I think she's taking a bite of chili and then taking a bite of a cinnamon roll. I'm assuming she's not pouring chili on top of the cinnamon roll.
I mean, that might be a new thing. I just saw hot Cheetos inside a pickle at Arizona State Fair. Yeah. Turkey leg covered in hot Cheetos also. They're having at some state fair in Arizona.
That seems just disgusting.
But
if I had to be honest with you. She's down there eating that right now, so evidently she's sending me links to like justify her use of sweets, and I guess I can understand like the sweet and the heat or something like that. Look at this. What's the deal with? Is that backwards?
can you raise that up? Like, I need. Is it like together? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
separate.
it's separate.
It's separate.
That's just weird.
It's a Midwest
But,
classic,
I don't know,
evidently.
I'd
I
have to
guess.
try it.
I don't
Sounds
know.
like a bad case of heartburn, but
It does. It sounds like it's going to be a terrible time later.
it's like heartburn and diabetes.
Yeah. I got the sugars and I got and I got acid reflux. Oh. Man, so we talked about MMA Goats last night, and you brought up that you think Demetrius Johnson is the number one of all time.
Yeah.
So give me your top five.
But I also think it's weird that with this whole Khabib thing, no one's mentioning Mighty Mouse in the whole conversation, which is weird. But
it is weird. He doesn't get the due he deserves 100% because of his size.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if the fans never got into seeing him fight, are the fans wrong? Like, aren't they the kind of the representation of what society liked?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, by that regards, that it means like what? Post Malone is like the greatest rapper because he sold the most rap albums.
I mean, isn't that still Eminem?
Is it Eminem? I don't know.
It's Eminem. I'm pretty sure Eminem sold the most rap albums of all time, and then he would be in that conversation because he's amazing. If Post Malone sold that many, I'd be like, y'all are stupid. but I like Post Malone. No, I think so. So give me your top five all time. And now, but I think even with that, you kind of have to clarify.
Even like for me too, like saying who I think are the best and saying my favorite.
Those are different.
Those are
different. Yeah, 100%. My five favorite fighters, almost none of them, except for one or two, are on the top five all-time list.
Yeah.
They're just my favorite fighters. So first give me your top five. Let's go with your top five favorites.
Ooh. Favorites
first.
Shogun, Henderson,
yep.
Sakuraba,
yeah,
Mighty Mouse.
Ooh, Ellie, you only got one left.
I do got one left. Ooh, that fifth one's gonna be tough. Gosh, who would be my fifth? I have a bunch of people in the running, but I don't know who I would.
You gotta pick one.
God, man. Let's go with Kid Yamamoto. R.I.P.
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 Let's see. Top five favorites. I would have to go with Sakuraba, Dan Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
This where it starts to get rough after those two. Randy Cooter.
Chelsea.
Love Randy Cooter, man. I'm a big Randy Cooter fan. He gets no love in the greatest conversation because he was like a 500.
Oh, I didn't even say Fedor. Why not say Fedor?
No one does. Like John Jones. John Jones is always been absolutely amazing. And this one, Pat Barry, dude. I've loved hometown guy. I got to meet him when we were young, and he one of the most exciting guys to watch, just to watch fight. But now when you talk about your top five fighters, the best fighters of all time, the list changed dramatically. Mm-hmm. Let's go with number 1 and 1. So who's your number 1?
Mighty Mouse.
Ooh. I'm gonna go John Jones, number 1. Let's go. Your number 2.
John Jones.
John Jones. Number 2, I'm gonna give it to Anderson Silva. Number 3.
3, I would probably put. You know what? I put Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva 3.
3, I'm gonna go GSP. 4
for me is a tie between Fedor and GSP.
Can't do that.
Let's go with
Can't do ties.
GSP. Let's do GSP.
4, I'm going to go Habib. And then
Really?
5, yeah. I'm gonna give him. I give him.
Man,
4.
I'll go. Ooh. Yeah, I had to put Fedor.
Okay, and then 5, I'm gonna go Demetrius Johnson. Leaving off, and I didn't have him in my favorite fighter list, and I'm not really sure why. Now that I think about it, Daniel Cormier, because I think.
Oh yeah, and I was like, that's what I was thinking about it too.
He's right outside of it, man. Like if I could take out Habib and probably put DC and be okay, I do think overall career, DC had a better career. 2 division champion, Strike Force. You know what? Yeah, get rid of Habib. I'm putting DC in. As a matter of fact, I'm bumping him up to 3, dropping GSP to 4. Now, here's a harder one. Have you tried doing a Mount Rushmore of MMA?
We talked about this.
It's so hard, dude. It's so hard.
Do you think it's changed now that Khabib's retired for you?
No, he's not on my Mount Rushmore. I think you have to look at Mount Rushmore as like past, present, like an influencer, and then maybe
I mean,
I don't know.
Pretty big influencer right now.
God, I'd have to put
Connor. Have this
Connor.
whole generation
I'd have to
of
put Connor over him, dude.
Dagestani guys with beards and tracksuits all coming in.
How many Irish guys with terrible chest tattoos are we going to get running out here soon?
I don't think too many because that's kind of a big investment, I feel like.
The chest tattoo?
Yeah.
It's such a weird one. It is a weird one. I have a couple of friends when we were younger got like big, expensive chest tattoos. None of them are like, man, I'm so proud of this chest tattoo 20 years later. They're all like, damn, this thing sucks.
You know who always threw me off? Whenever I see his posters, he fought in LFA. It was like the skin was like breaking off and there was something underneath. I don't know if it was like a bat symbol or something else.
Are you talking about Steven Peterson?
No, not Steven Peterson.
Peterson's got the big like Superman chain.
But no, it was like it's like his skin was like breaking off and there was something
breaking off. I don't remember.
But that guy, I would always see that and I was like, what is wrong with you?
There's been some terrible tattoos. We'll save terrible tattoos for
Speaking of which, I'm glad Alexander Volkov got the whole Stingray thing changed finally.
He got it changed? I haven't seen it. What is it now?
He got a full back tattoo cover up.
Really?
Yeah, he went full like Frank Mir.
Why did he get rid of the Moana tattoo?
Maybe because it just seemed weird, random.
I don't know. That was
He
cool.
He didn't like do a little cut. He just went the whole back, just covered it up.
Really? I'll have to Google that and check. You know what? Let's see if I can pull it up right now. So Volkov got a.
He had a pretty nice win too.
Tattoo. Let's see. Oh, that didn't do. I hate when you're trying to type and nothing actually types.
Mm-hmm. It autocorrects you. Oh
yeah. Alex Volkov, huge back tattoo. Let's see if I can. There's no picture of it.
Oh yeah, there is. Just do Alexander Volkov back tattoo.
I did. Like here's a detailed back shot of it. All right, so he originally had the Moana tattoo, and then now these are all still the Moana tattoos.
Really?
Yeah.
The very first one when I searched the right tattoo.
Oh goodness, I see it now. Woo!
Like he went,
dude. That looks like kind of Chris Lieben, Frank Mir. Let's just cover up everything. That's a sick tattoo, though, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how it'll last, like some of the saturation in it, but that's a dope tattoo. Yeah, that's pretty. That's nice.
Speaking of which, Greg Hardy needs to get some new tattoos.
What's wrong with Greg Hardy's tattoos, man?
Have you not seen them?
No, I don't pay attention to his tattoos. I mean, no tattoo can beat Jason White's tattoos.
What was Jason White's tattoo? Jason White or Jason White?
Not Jason. Damn it, it's not White. Who was Knight? Jason Knight.
Oh.
So evidently he had like a pretty racist.
Darren Elkins.
Those are garbage tattoos. Yeah, he's got some garbage tattoos. God, where is that? Was it Jason Knight?
Maybe.
Oh, dude, his Fat Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
Maybe
Fat Johnny.
it's not Jason Knight that I'm trying to think of. Man, Jason Knight's got like a big. There's this guy.
Josh Neer?
No, MMA tattoo. MMA. Wow, that came up really quick.
He does have that terrible Neer.
I can't find the one I'm looking for. But basically the guy like covered a bad tattoo with like a worse tattoo. There's been some bad ones out there.
There's a ton of.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Like there's some amazing tattoos. Hey, side note, I don't know why I just scrolled past her back tattoo while I was doing this. You see Chris Cyborg got her black belt in jiu-jitsu?
I thought she was already a black belt.
Yeah, so did the entire world.
Yeah, I saw that picture and I'm like, is he putting it on her? Because I thought she already had one.
Yeah, someone she got her black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I think every lady across the world went, what? like she was already a monster. Like I don't know how she didn't already have one, but props to her coach for not just tossing out.
Oh, I guess she was a brown belt the whole time. Huh.
What's her coach's name? He's pretty famous. Is it Romel? Marcelo? I think she got it from Cristiano Marcelo. Cabrina. She got her black belt from Cabrina. Poor piss on me for forgetting who Cabrina was for a second. Hey man, is there anything else you got today?
No, that was it.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, where can all 6 of my fans follow you at?
At Dirty Aladdin or Dirty_Aladdin, depending on if you're on Twitter or Instagram.
I don't
remember which one. It's just
you can find me
Aladdin.
at Show Nuff Stuff on Instagram. I don't really update much unless it's fight pictures. Otherwise than that, I'm not very social media savvy.
You like to think you're a photographer or something?
Yeah, I try. I just push a button, run a filter on it. I run it
pretty much.
I run it through Instagram and I just swipe. So I'm like, oh, that looks cool. All right, cool. Well, hey man, thanks for joining me today for our first show. And
thanks for having me.
We will talk about some more stuff that happened next week. Until then, guys, thank y'all so much, and we'll see you later. Thanks.